All right, guess what, boys? We're back. We're back, and just
Hell
like
yeah.
that, just like all other times, we're having difficulties. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back, boys. Season 5 of the Duster Squad podcast. Technically season 2, actually, of the Duster Squad podcast.
Well,
Formerly
yeah,
known as the Fifth Line
it's the
podcast.
rebrand.
Yep. So we've been gone since, I think it was like the Cup final. Right after the Cup final, we recorded an episode, and I think that's been it.
I think it was like mid-July, I want to say, because it
Yeah,
was we
it was.
stopped just before Nick's wedding, so
Yeah,
I think it was mid-July. It's been
yeah.
a minute.
It has been a while. Yeah. Speaking of, Nick's figuring his stuff out, but I'll tell you this. I loved it, dude. That was great.
So that was a fantastic weekend.
That was
Very
great,
fun
dude.
time had by all.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful venue, beautiful people, and just a great time. Just a great time. Great celebration.
Hell of a party.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a great time.
So yeah, and now
We were-
Nick is officially married.
Yes. I suppose you should say your feelings on your wedding.
What's there to say? It all worked out like it was supposed to. We didn't get rained on. It's how we planned it, so it all went off without a hitch.
That's right.
Well, one
That's
hit.
right.
And
One
now nothing
hitch.
hitch.
You got hitched.
Oh,
Bad word joke, but you know,
That was-
gotta
that
get
was-
the dad jokes out early.
yep.
Here's my question. Which of the pet drinks did you guys like better? I forget their names, but it was the CC one and the Tucker one.
I didn't have them.
I didn't have a single one. I had, I think it was like 20 Michelob Ultras. It's just, and I
Yeah.
honestly, one of the times, dude, I went up and I was like, I'm surprised she's still giving me this. I was like, okay. But it was all right. It was all good. I didn't throw up. And I had
Hell
a great
yeah.
time. My feet hurt after from dancing. That was the most I've ever danced in my life.
It was a lot of dancing. That's
Yeah.
the
Until
only
your
place I
wedding.
ever danced that much is at weddings.
Yeah, this is my first wedding other than my sister's. And they were wildly
Really?
different. Yeah, wildly different.
I guess that was only my third. And they've been, a lot of similar vibes actually.
Yeah, so that was how we started our little break was Nick's wedding. So that was a good time.
Yep.
Did you guys go on the honeymoon yet?
No.
Or is that later?
Yeah, are you guys doing something?
We're looking at trying to do something next year, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
we're also house hunting, so that's kind of
Right. That's
like
fair.
we have money set aside to do a honeymoon if we want, but we also got to get passports, and that's a whole process too that I'm sure
Yeah.
you guys know about.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it so much that I just got a enhanced license. 'Cause my
Yeah,
passport
which works
expired.
fine until you want to.
Yeah,
go
until you want to fly, yeah.
It works great for Canada.
Yeah, yeah.
And Mexico. And I think like
Interestingly-
if you go by sea to like the US Virgin Islands or something, that also works. There's some like wildly specific uses for it. But anyway.
There's interestingly, the enhanced license is now necessary to fly within the United States.
Really? You
Yep.
can't just use normal license. Okay, but
no.
you can with enhanced. Okay.
There's a whole. Trust me, I know all about it. There's a whole policy now on IDs for the states, and it's called the Real ID Act.
Mhm.
And either you have to upgrade your license to a Real ID style, or you have to enhance it. Enhance is obviously, it costs you more because it lets you get into the adjoining countries.
I was surprised at how much it was only I don't know. I was expecting maybe more, but it was $40.
That's not
Oh,
that terrible.
that's-
It
that's not
really
bad.
wasn't. At
I-
that, I think it's
I
like-
expected to be screwed a lot more. Like it. But yeah.
especially
Yeah.
with New York, right?
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
my
you want to
God,
know the
man.
story of it that annoyed the piss out of me was the first time I went there to the DMV, which is never a good time. I go into that expecting that.
Same here.
But I went there, figured out what I needed, got the form and filled that out, and they were like, you gotta come back with 2 proofs of address, proofs of residency rather, your social security card and your birth certificate. I'm like, okay, I know where my social security card is. My birth certificate is at home in Burke. get that, and then 2 proofs of residence, my lease and my electric bill. I get back there. They're like, electric bill, awesome. This lease, because your landlord modified it with pen, we can't take that. That's not official because they had written over it. And it gets dumber because they won't take that piece of paper with that written in pen like that. But they're like, but because you had your electric bill, we can give you this form. And it's, I think, declaration of residency or something, some bullshit like that, some legal bullshit like that.
Mhm.
Where I write in pen where I live and then sign it, and
Oh
then
my
that
gosh,
works.
man.
I'm like,
I could have just written
I
that on a
mean-
piece of paper, dude.
it's like, I mean, thank you for giving this to me to make it work, but like, why does that make any sense?
Man, it's so
well,
dumb,
it's
dude.
because under the signature thing, it's like doing this falsely is can be under penalty of law or whatever. So like, I guess they're
yeah.
like, hey, if you're signing this, know that we can arrest you,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But
Yeah, I
I can tell you that changing
it's
your
still
name,
dumb.
changing your name is a friggin' process too.
Okay.
Thankfully, we had and it might be worth whenever the day comes for you and Danielle, Michael. It might be if she decides to change her last name.
Yeah.
We'll get her the same thing that one of my friends got for Liz because it streamlines that whole process. It tells
might
you exactly
be-
what to do.
Might be different down here.
For the state, it might be, but federally, it's going to be the same for like
Yeah.
Social Security and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a free
Some of it-
free
some
new,
of it was
free
a
new social
process.
security card hack. You just got to get married.
Yeah, there you go. Sweet.
So I guess you could argue that's very not free. But
yeah, no.
oh yeah, the other
Um,
thing that annoyed me was I found out in all that process that the only copy of my birth certificate was a photocopy. I didn't have the official copy.
You don't have the
anymore.
original.
No, so
Oh,
I had
dear.
to fucking go to Malone and buy a different piece of paper.
You had to buy an original.
But that, or like a state certified one where
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yep, this dude was born in Alice Hyde. Yep, this was the day.
Nice.
But yeah, that was only $10. I expected that to be more too. But
Yeah,
I
it's a
hate
pain in the
documents and
balls.
shit like that.
It's
Like,
a pain
I
in the
just-
balls everywhere.
Yeah,
And it's even worse when you have moved 1,700 miles from where all of the stuff is.
yeah.
Because I had to do
Yeah.
the same thing, but I had to get my dad to ship everything down in a nice
damn.
envelope. But we got it taken care of. So okay, so we had the wedding. Eric got a new apartment. I don't know if it was
Got the new
directly
digs.
right after, but it was pretty soon.
Yep, it was
He's
pretty
not
much.
in it right now, but he has it.
Yes, I'm not in it right now. I'm visiting my
Viewers who are like, this looks familiar.
Yeah. You're like, wait a minute. Yes. Yeah. No, I was telling before you got here, Nick, I was telling them my next project is like get a nice little desk set up for myself at the apartment. That's kind of low on the list of priorities because there's been other stuff, obviously. But that's the next thing. But I have a new apartment. I'm in Queens now. It's pretty cool. It's a 1-bedroom. It has a decent amount of space, so I'm definitely loving it. And obviously, I hope you guys will come and visit at some point. And I can help you find street parking. It'll be a great thing.
Oh, if I'm visiting, I'm
Sweet.
taking the Amtrak. I ain't driving down
Oh,
there.
yeah. And
But for the other guys, yeah.
we're meeting you in Penn Station. Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
But
All right.
yeah, pretty.
Excellent. And then the last thing I think that really happened in the interim was the lake weekend. Big night.
Yes.
The lake
Oh,
weekend.
We were very sad to miss you there, Mike.
Yes,
but
I was
know
unable
the
to make it.
whole rigmarole with the plane tickets and whatnot. Sorry that happened.
No, that's
but-
not your fault.
No, I know, but that sucks. But the night at the lake was a good time, had by all, I do believe. How about what do you all say?
It was another successful lake weekend for the books.
Yep.
I did the math, and that was the 6th in the row since we started doing the once a year.
I
Nice.
did.
Um,
I think I was the only one who got sick, other than Caroline, but she doesn't count.
Oh no.
I didn't
That's-
overdrink though. It wasn't because of that. I
Did
just
you-
think I.
and
Did you blow-
Caroline
did you
wasn't
blow
either.
chunks?
She was just feeling not great all day, right, Eric? She was
Yeah.
just-
Caroline was just feeling kind of ash. She might have ate some. She wasn't blowing chunks at all though.
I did.
You
We did
did?
before
Wait,
we got to the
How did you blow chunks but not over drink? Did you have a bum tummy?
I had a few drinks and then I think I just overdid it on the food. I stacked a lot of different things together.
Oh, you just had a real big plate.
I think
And I
what
mean,
put
yeah,
me over,
that was a very greasy meal. We did pulled pork hamburgers and hot
Dude.
dogs.
Dude,
like-
when you guys were going through that in the messages, I was like, and then like Cody's like, Autumn's gonna make mac and cheese and this and cornbread
did.
and that, and I'm like, holy fuck, you guys are gonna have so much food. Like,
Yeah, we did.
oh my
Yeah,
God.
and we did have a lot of food, but we went through a lot of it too. Oh,
Nice.
Aaron brought buffalo chicken dip too. That I'm pretty
Oh.
sure Nick, you were involved in that as the consumption of that as well.
Dude, Nick was involved everywhere. I already know. I wasn't even
I'll tell you
there.
this. I think what put me over the edge was the potato salad. So
That's not gonna look funny coming out either.
You know what?
Yeah,
I'm gonna save me.
not Grammy Watson's potato salad.
The thing that saved me was when I was feeling it because I was having some of Marcus's 9 whatever IPA with him, and I
Oh
was
yeah, when I heard you had a
All the-
Voodoo Ranger, I was like, no man, what are you doing? Love yourself.
dude. Listen. All of a sudden though, I'm sitting down and there's a pulled pork sandwich in front of me, and I'm like, I love you, pulled pork sandwich.
Oh, nice.
That turned out really good. I was worried towards the end because I like went and I had it set to do, I think it was 9 hours total, and I checked on it like 7 hours into it because I started it before we got up there. And it was not particularly close, and I'd had it on low all day, so I immediately cranked it up to high for the last 2 hours, and I think that did the trick because that shit was pull apart like fucking crazy.
Yeah,
And it
I've
was
done that.
wild because I took it out of the crock pot and was like had strained it and was like pulling it apart and like getting off the last bits of fat that I didn't get off before. And I was like cutting off chunks that had some gristle, and then they still would have like a little bit of meat on them. And a crowd started where they were like picking off of the gristle. I was like,
Wow.
guys, it's coming soon. Trust me, it'll be.
Yeah.
It was good though.
I
It
did
was
not partake in that. That was not
What's
me.
that?
You weren't in the meat
No, I think
line?
I think it was Aaron and Paige were there.
Yeah,
I think
partake.
Paige's boyfriend
Whoops.
was there as well.
You weren't in the meat picking line?
No,
Well,
No,
All right.
that was a fun night though.
I would have been
Dinner was
first.
good. Dinner was good. Fire was good.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Those were good.
Very nice.
yeah, we kept that bitch stoked.
Of course you did.
Him and Cody were fucking on that shit.
Oh,
they
yes.
were
Yes.
they were
Listen,
glued to that fire
didn't
from
start
like
it.
5 p.m. till the end of the night, except for when we went to dinner.
I got Ben's permission to start it. I didn't go.
Oh
look
no,
at-
you were good.
Go ahead and start it. I
Dude.
said, "Fuck yeah."
I was just I was admiring the devotion. You were there.
Yeah, man. You gotta keep.
And then
you
my
gotta get
grandpa
fire
got
going.
there. My grandpa was there for like maybe with my grandma for like a half hour, 45 minutes, and for like a solid 15, he was over there like talking like fire strategy for a minute. I'm
Yeah,
like,
dude.
this is amazing.
It's a hallmark of the lake weekend: getting the fire going early and keeping it going a long time.
Yeah, I think we
Uh,
burnt all their wood.
Oh, jeez. Nice.
Not all of it, but we did a good dent. I mean, a lot of that shit was dead wood that'd been sitting there for a few years anyway. It's not like they're gonna be mad.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah,
beaver had recently just taken down another tree that they then chopped up, and then now have
Oh,
another
nice.
tree's worth of firewood just sitting there.
Beaver
But
getting
yeah,
to work.
apparently some of y'all see them? I remember somebody said they saw it later in the night, like diving into the water or something.
yeah, not me. I think Caroline and no, someone else.
Yeah.
Saw. I don't know
Somebody
who.
distinctly remember somebody saying that because the day before, somebody else, the neighbors, I think the triplets' mom, had gotten photos of it like swimming around. The fucker was big. He was a fat bastard. My
Big
goodness.
beaver.
Oh yeah.
So, Mike, I got
Cool.
a question for you. Now I'm gonna sidebar.
Okay.
How was getting all of your little trinkets back through security at the airport?
I did not. I left them with Danielle's mom, and she mailed them up.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So I'm
that
actually
makes sense.
look at. I'm using it right now.
Yeah,
Hey,
I know.
yeah.
That's why I asked.
Yep. I'm using that. I got that. I got my knife right here, handy, just in case someone breaks in. And my lighter too, so I can light them on fire.
Dude, that lighter is so much fun for lighting candles. It makes
Oh,
like
I haven't even thought about that.
dude, Mike.
Oh yeah,
dude,
it's perfect. But yeah.
like green. And
This is a great still for the we just got demonetized. Not that we were ever monetized.
No, it's
And
fine.
you guys know
Everything's
that the light
fine.
is like where
Yeah,
it lights like
yeah,
turns out.
yeah.
There you go.
I use it a lot for my bowl when I'm smoking because I can like put like a very specific part of it on
Now we
fire at
did-
once and it
Okay.
doesn't. What's that?
I said, and now we definitely did get demonetized.
No.
I
No.
said bowl.
I'm just
Yeah,
It's
he's
very
lighting. He's
nondescript.
lighting
Mm,
incense inside of an
My
actual
bowl of incense. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's our little update. That's what we've got to. That's what we got involved in on the during our break. Wedding,
Quite a summer.
lake night, new apartment.
Oh, did you not? You had one thing here in the outline.
like, was there
Uh,
anything from you? Anything new on your end?
Well, I got a new job soon, hopefully.
Hey,
So that's
nice.
good. I'll be working like I have like set hours
Nice.
during
Nice.
the day, so that'll be good.
Is it remote?
It is not remote. That'd be pretty cool, but it is not. Because if it was remote, then I could come up whenever I wanted and just
Yeah.
work from up there. That would be awesome. That's
Yeah.
what that's my sister's situation. It's awesome because she can just go up. Like she's gonna go
Yeah.
up the week of Thanksgiving and just work from there.
Damn.
Easy.
It's a very
Yeah.
nice setup. But I will not be doing that. But I did go to an NFL game. Very fun
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
It was a bit brutal because the Jaguars are apparently the worst team in the NFL by a
Very good.
lot. Like
They're bad.
really bad. I don't know. But it's weird because they're 0-4. They've not won. But like every game other than the Bills game has been like a 1-score game. Like it's
Yeah.
been close.
They're not a bad team. Like, they're not good. They're not good.
Yeah, good teams
But they're
generally
not
don't
a
go
bad
0-4
Like, the Jaguars were pretty good
in
last year,
football.
and they still have the same players, a lot of the same players this year. So it's kind of surprising that they're 0-4, but
Very surprising.
I'm sure it was a good experience. I've never been, so
It was cool. Very big
they play?
arena.
Did you say that already? I'm sorry.
They played the Browns, the
Ah.
Cleveland Browns with Deshaun Watson.
the raper.
Yes, the domestic assaulter or sexual assaulter. Yeah, and I didn't realize
Sports.
I forgot that he was the QB, and everybody in the crowd kept chanting "No means no," and I was really confused. Yeah, that was the chant from the
Oh.
crowd. It was "No
That is-
Honestly,
means no."
Kind of love it, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious. Yeah.
How long did it take you to figure it out?
It was days later when I was talking to my dad about it. I seriously I was like, why are they? What does that mean? Because I forgot that.
Yeah.
Come on, it's the fucking NFL, man. Everybody's got some kind of allegation and
Yeah.
proven wrongdoing and shit. No offense to the NFL, but it's true.
But it's a lot more prevalent. I've noticed than even like basketball or hockey. I mean, not that there's not been nothing in hockey lately.
Oh, there's
but
plenty in other sports as well, but it's just because maybe NFL is a bit bigger of a stage, so it
it's
comes out. A
probably
little more.
yeah.
But listen, we don't care about the NFL here.
No, what the
We
fuck?
care about the NHL, which, by the way, the regular season started today, not Tuesday, as I previously thought, but
And
technically
there's going
started
to
today.
be preseason games. The Lightning are going to play a preseason game on Monday.
Yep. And meanwhile, New Jersey and Buffalo are playing for keeps right now.
They played today and I think tomorrow as well. I
Yep.
Yeah.
believe.
Yep. Yeah, I sent out a little fantasy message.
Yes.
Just in the nick of time. I was originally sending it because I was like, oh, well, they're going to play tonight, so I'll give everybody a couple hours notice. And then I
But
realized
it's in the Czech Republic. It's in
Yeah.
Prague. It's
So I-
happening now.
I texted at like 12:50 and the game started at 1 p.m. this time. So it was literally like I gave everybody 10 minutes of heads up. But I think it worked out. I
That's
think
big.
everybody had it set
That's
up.
the only reminder of setting lineups this year. That's it.
That's it. That's it. Maybe
I
yeah.
checked and like I actually had checked because I had known that was happening because I had seen a tweet last night being like, why the fuck is the regular season starting tomorrow? And I looked, but then yeah, I didn't remember who I drafted. I didn't have anybody on the Devils or the Sabres, so it didn't affect me. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so we can get into other stuff next, because I do have a couple storylines. I wrote down a couple storylines going into the season from around the league, not concerning our own teams. But first, I say we discuss our teams a little bit, if y'all don't mind.
Let's do it.
I don't know
Hell yeah.
who. So I wrote down talking points for each team. I'm sure there's others I missed, but
Yeah.
I don't know where you guys want to start. I have Ottawa first. Nick, you want to get her done?
Sure. I can't pull up your notes because of my
That is fine.
technological issues at
That
the
is
moment.
fine. That is fine.
I do recall the big one. So the big one's Ullmark, right? They traded to get
Yeah.
Ullmark season. We shall see how that works
He's
out.
been
We're
a
on-
bit of a wall in the
gold
preseason so
number.
far.
We're on goaltender number like 6 over the last 7 years.
Yeah.
So
He's by far the best one that's has been there, though. Like he won a Vezina like 2 years ago.
Yes.
no, I
like-
agree.
An argument could be made for Talbot. I
Maybe.
think Cam Talbot left there and immediately was
Good again.
an extremely good goalie.
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
was good. He was
Yeah.
good.
So-
Then he got traded there. Then he sucked ass, and then he got traded away and was good again.
So if Ullmark is good here in Ottawa, that means he's truly the best one because
Pretty much.
he can overcome.
Pretty much.
But
yeah.
he's overcome so far in the
Looking
preseason.
better
He's
and
looked
better.
good.
Yeah.
This trade looks better and better for them because Boston still, well, as of last I knew, doesn't have Swayman signed. So
One of the dumbest things they could have done was to trade him before Swayman was signed.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice.
How did they think that was gonna go? You just
My thought,
threw
and
away any and all leverage. But
we
anyway,
we can get into
after
this a bit later. I don't know if you had looked at the outline, you'll know that that's upcoming.
Yes.
But yeah. So yeah, that's the big move was adding Ullmark, and the other big moves are you just need your young fellas to step it up. It's
Right.
time. It's
So-
time.
So I was looking at their roster, and it looks like they have Norris shifted over to wing now. I agree. You got to see better play out of the young guys. Stutzla's got to contribute more. You know, he's one of the head guys on that team. He's that's the reason they paid him, right? So,
True that.
Batherson kind of underperformed last year. He's got to come back to form. They got who else? David Perron. I know he's aging,
Oh,
but he's
yeah.
still.
Yes, but he's still a good player. He's good.
I think
good
he's on
player.
a line with Giroux, so that should put the old men together.
Old guys line. Yeah.
Oh
Hell yeah.
dear.
I think so. In all honesty, like I personally think they have offensive talent to be able to do, at least get into the playoffs. But the question's always been, what's the problem, goalie or defense,
hmm
or just
A mix
bad,
of both.
or just bad team defense?
Mhm.
And I think this year you're going to see, like, if Ullmark struggles, is it the players around him, or did they just build their roster wrong?
Yeah,
you know?
this is definitely the year. It's like this is when you figure it out. You're taking a Vezina caliber goaltender. If he can't do it, then it's probably not
There's
the
probably
goalie's
bigger
fault.
issues. Yeah.
This is a question I had. First of all, I feel like this is the year like Ottawa has to challenge for a playoff spot this year. If they don't do it this year, I mean, sure they can do it the next year, but like you got to do something soon here. Like how many?
Well, Ullmark's got this year left on his contract too.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
He's
you got the
only
challenge.
signed through this
it's
season.
1 year.
Otherwise-
Yeah,
Are you gonna get him back?
Yeah.
it all depends. All depends.
You'd like it to not be DeBrincat trade 2.0.
That would be unfortunate, but they didn't. What did they give up? They gave up Corpusalo and a pick. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I don't think they gave up as
It wasn't a
much
whole
as
lot.
they did
Wasn't a whole
for DeBrincat, but yeah.
Yeah. And this was my other question: is if they don't like make strides and at least challenge for a playoff spot, at what point does Brady Tkachuk say, because like he just watched his brother win a Stanley Cup.
Right.
Like at what? Like
By
obviously
forcing
that's
his way out of a Canadian team.
at what point does does Brady follow in his brother's footsteps and
Yeah,
Well,
and
I don't know when
try
his
to get down
contract
here.
is up because that would be the next.
it's like 6 years,
Significant.
5 years, 6 years?
yeah, but not to mention like we've seen players force their way out of off of teams while they've got active contracts, so it's not like it's unprecedented.
Yeah,
or was
no,
it-
but
but there's already been like speculation over the last couple of years, like, oh, Kachuk wants out at Ottawa, and then he comes back and be like, those are false. You
yeah, I
never
don't know that it'll actually anything will
People
actually
start-
happen with that, but
Right, but if you continue to keep planting that seed, he might be like, all right, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm done with this. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you. I don't know when the make or break season is for him, but you got to think it's close because like Giroux's not getting any younger, Shabbat's not getting any younger, so it's like you got some good players that are, obviously I know that Giroux is considerably older than Shabbat, but like you got good guys that are aging out at this point. Some of them.
Bot's already 27. Wow.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
right.
he's been in. It feels like he's been in the league like 10 years.
Yeah, because he has kind of been. He got brought in as soon as he got drafted. Like he was. They were like, we need you.
Was he 18? Was he 18-year-old inbound?
I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure he was. I might be lying. He might have done like 1 year.
I don't think he
But-
did.
The only reason I bring up Brady leaving is because I would love for him to follow his brother down to Florida and join the Tampa Bay Lightning. Because that would be sweet.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine the rivalry then. Holy shit.
That'd
It
be
would
great.
kind of rule.
I'd like him to play together.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
In Tampa. Yes. Yeah.
That time to be a Lightning fan.
That'd be terrible.
Interestingly
dude.
enough, Thomas Shabbat, he only played one game in the NHL after his draft the first year, and then went back down. And it looks like won either the Q's championship title or the Memorial Cup. I don't know. He's got a little trophy, and then he came back and was with Belleville, and then the Sens the year after. So yeah, he's been 8 years. So yeah,
Alright. Yeah.
Tom Shabbat.
He's a seasoned vet at this point, basically. You know who's not a seasoned vet? Well, we can move on here. Lots of people in Montreal.
Most of the team, yeah, it's
Majority of the team.
it's a good chunk of it. So yeah, I mean the preseason so far has been a lot of exactly what you would expect. It's like 6 or 7 significant veterans and then all kids. And I mean, I guess Nick Suzuki's not really a kid anymore. He's 25 and he's the captain, but like even he still feels young. That like your captain's the 25-year-old.
That's
And
pretty young.
then, it's been a big competition for spots so far. Really on the defensive side, especially. But I saw the first guy you had marked down was Slavkovsky, because of course earlier in the summer got that big deal. But interestingly, I think he does have 1 year left on his entry. I think it. Kicks
Yeah,
in
it was
after
it was an
season.
extension, I believe. Yes.
Yeah. And so far he has looked exactly as he did at the end of last year. He's the same confident guy. He's been looking slick in training camp and the preseason games and the scrimmages. He's looked promising. But it will be interesting to see if they're keeping that line together, the line that took off in the back half of the year last year for the Habs. Caulfield, Suzuki, Slavkovsky have been together all preseason so far. It's looking like they'll be together in tomorrow night, the last preseason game. They'll be the starting first line. So I'm
All right.
excited to see what's going to happen with Slav. What are you thinking coming out of Slav this year, point wise?
Oh, who knows? What did he have last
He hit
year?
50 last year. 50
Okay.
last year, and he got it like not all, but mostly in like the last 60 or so games. Like he
He'll
was
probably
dog
get
shit
more.
to start.
He'll probably add more to that.
I'd
probably
be
add more to that.
happy for like a 60 to 65.
I wouldn't be shocked.
That'd be nice.
Especially if he's
That'd
playing
be
with
nice.
those other two guys.
Yeah,
I would not
because
be
that's
shocked
going to
at
be
that.
the guys that are going to do things on the Habs
Yeah.
this year. Like
Does he get
if-
power play time as well? He does?
He was starting to get power play time at the end of the year last year. So that's going to
Yeah,
be nice.
yeah, he'll
and
get
they
more.
were actually starting to pass to him. Matheson finally gave up trying to put shots into shin pads and was like, maybe this really good shot on the wing over here. Maybe we could throw it over there. And then he started scoring a bunch. And it's like, whoa.
Shocker. The one timer from the boards works. Who could have told you?
You never see that in hockey.
No.
You know, it's just
Not for
so
the last
crazy.
20 years with Ovechkin. No.
And Stamkos.
And Stamkos.
Yeah. So I am looking forward to seeing what he can do, especially with maybe a little bit of Lane Hudson thrown into the mix on the power play there.
Yeah, you Frenchies are creaming in your drawers for that kid. Holy shit.
I am very excited.
Oh my God.
I'm very excited, and I know people are probably being a little overly excited about it, but you have to understand how dog shit the Habs drafting has been for so long. We have not had this like ever in my lifetime as a fan. So like the fact that we've hit on a few guys, or it seems to be that we've hit pretty well on a good few guys, it's like we're enjoying it. Yes, possibly a little too enthusiastically, but
good enough.
We gotta have something to be happy about. Okay, they're probably not gonna be very good again.
Yeah, no, I don't see them. I don't really know if they make it out of the. I don't even know if they make it out of the basement. If I'm being honest, of the Atlantic.
Of the Atlantic, I think they'll just,
say.
by the nature of how less competition there is in some of the other divisions, they'll move up because I think they finished like. I think they finished like 27th or 28th or something in the league last year. If you can, push that up to like 24th and, have some growth and some good seasons out of a few of the young guys, I would just all I really want to see is just steady progression from where we're going. Cause next summer has been the planned, we're going to start the upswing thing for like a while because a bunch of not all of them, but a bunch of the really shitty Bergevin contracts that are left are coming up at the end of this year. And next year is when Ivan Demidov is going to be able to come over. It's like a whole bunch of things are lining up.
They're coming together.
So they're like, all right, we're going to get a decent draft pick this year probably. And then next year is when we really try to, start
that's when the big jump is coming, hopefully.
That's the ideal plan anyway. Yeah.
And then last thing for the Habs, I would say the big ad for you guys was Patty Laine. Nice little trade. And preseason game goes down with a little knee injury. But
in the same game, Reinbacher goes down with a knee injury as well.
Yes, that one was also bad. It's unfortunate that Reinbacher gets hurt because this is when he's supposed to be developing. But he'll be okay. He's a young buck. He'll be fine.
I still think largely he will, but it's like it does not because he already had last year really affected by the fact that the situation with the team he was on in I think it was the Swiss League was not good the whole year. I think they went through like 3 coaches. It was they had a shit year, and and then at the end of it he came over and seemed to be doing well in Laval. So we were like, okay, he needs to just get minutes this year. Get him accommodated. That's not the word, but
acclimated.
Acclimated. Yeah, there we go.
I got you.
To North American ice. Get it set up. Give him all the time he needs. He was never going to make the. I mean, some people thought he might make the team this year, but I was like, no, Laval, please. So 5 to 6 months is rough. He'll maybe get some games at the end of the season, maybe 10 if he's lucky. And all things go well with the recovery. So that sucks. But the Patrik Laine injury, which I mean, it's weird to be like, it was good news that it was 2 to 3 months, but with the injury that happened and the way his leg bent, I didn't think that dude was coming back this season.
That was a bad angle.
It looked rough. But then it comes out he didn't actually need surgery. It sounds like it's going to be similar to the whole thing McDavid did a couple years back where someone got fucked up with one of his tendons and he opted for rehab instead of surgery. And I guess he's been all right. So hopefully, I mean, that it's a direct comparison because, I mean, skill level, but also everybody's human body reacts to things differently. So who knows? But the whole 2 to 3 months. So like earliest best case, he's back by December. Okay, that's a lot better
That's
than
pretty
I
good.
thought it was gonna be. Honestly, it was weird to see a lot of people on Habs Twitter celebrating about a 2 to 3 month injury, because like literally everybody was like, "Oh my god, thank fuck," because
Yeah.
everybody was like, "He's done for the year." But then it comes out 2 to 3 months, and it's like, okay, cool. It was really unfortunate because I mean he had already had so much rust from not playing since last December because he had the injury last year to his collarbone,
Yep.
and then was out in the player assistance program. So
It-
he was already breaking off. He was breaking off the rust, and he was looking really good with Kirby Doc. I don't think he had scored yet, but they were getting chances. He was like, you could tell he was getting there. Like
He
he
looked
was
good.
getting.
I saw
he was
some
getting
clips
fired
of him.
up.
He looked good.
Yeah,
He looked. He was moving and shaking.
Yeah. So it just sucks that he's got another obstacle now. But I'm hoping all goes best case. He's back near the middle of December, and maybe he can just start a tear from there.
Yeah, I mean that's my
You
hope.
never know.
I
mean,
felt
he's
so
had
bad
such
for
an
him.
up and down last couple of years, but
I felt so bad when I saw that. I'm like, this guy can't catch a freaking break, man.
He really
Like,
can't.
Another
it's like-
injury.
because like you can't even. That's not even like he's made of glass. Like he's just injury prone. Like no, if you do that to anybody's
Yeah, that's
knee,
bad.
like if you do that to anybody's leg, it's gonna be fucked. Like it's just what happened. So I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully recovery goes well.
Hopefully. You gonna make it to any games? Obviously.
The first one we're looking at, as long as my enhanced license gets in on time, which it should by a long shot get in time for this. The 20th, there's a game against the Blues on a Saturday.
Very nice.
So maybe that one.
Very nice.
That is
Get
nice.
a wiener.
Oh, a wiener, get a nice smoked meat sandwich before the game. Ooh.
Very nice. Very
Speaking of
nice.
wheat, you guys see how low Utah's prices are? For
Yes.
That is also
we'll
a
look
later
at that
topic.
later.
All right.
Because I did see it and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
But we'll get to
no,
that.
it's good.
We'll get to that because that's awesome, and I wish more people like places would do that. But okay, Eric, you want to go next, bud? Because
Yeah,
guess what? They didn't do anything again.
They didn't do anything, but there is some Islander stuff that I do want to talk about. So, again, like you said, off season, no drama, no nothing. It's a Lou team.
Hey, Anthony Duclair is not nothing.
So Anthony Duclair comes in, and he is not nothing. He is a
He is a
speedy
good player.
who is now going to be on projected to be on the first line with Bo Horvat and Matt Barzell. So that's the Islanders' first line that they're rolling.
Honestly, didn't he kind of rip it up with the Lightning when he went there?
He got like 10 goals in like 11 games with the Lightning, playing with Kucherov and Point. So good idea. Put him with some highly skilled players, and he will.
And he had a good season in Florida the season
He will
before,
thrive.
didn't he?
One thing that I like about this is that Duclair is kind of, I wouldn't say he's like a crazy two-way player or like
No.
he's just kind of a speedy driving force for the offense, and I like that they're going to use him as that, because it's like, yeah, just don't try to use him in a role that like he's not going to excel at.
No, he's the perfect player to like slot in the role of, hey, our best players just finish their place. Like,
Exactly.
Yes, he
and
pots
can do that.
goals. He pots
Yes.
goals.
And that's exactly what the Islanders haven't had, like an elite finisher, and he isn't an elite finisher, but he is
So he's a
someone
pretty good one.
consistent, exactly, and that's something that definitely can help stop the bleeding from last season. I did want to talk about the forward group. It's kind of all over the place. I was going to do projected lines, but there's just so many moving pieces with that. Like, they don't know if Anders Lee is a second line player or a third line player. They don't know where Holmstrom is going to fit in. They're not sure where Engvall is going to fit in. All this stuff. I know right now.
Good thing Engvall is there for another 7 years.
Another 7 years. Don't remind me, or do
Yeah.
remind me. I got
Don't have to play Clutterbuck anymore.
Cal Clutterbuck has, I guess, I don't know if he's officially retired from professional hockey.
Was
but
it the end of the identity line, or was that was the name of that line, right?
The the identity line was like 5 years ago, but they held on to it for about 5 years too long. But that's
Say it
okay.
ain't so.
Is Martin there? Because I know they did a PTO with him. Did they end
Yeah.
up like signing him?
I didn't hear any news about that. That's actually a great question.
Okay, so maybe that's still yet to be decided.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't go out of my way searching for too much like Islanders news other than passively looking. And I'm wondering, did I miss the PTO thing, or did Lou Lamoriello just like be like, no one's gonna know about this? I always just like
I saw it.
I saw that he was assigned up to a PTO. I haven't seen any news past that though.
that's what I'm saying. Like the
Yeah,
outcome.
okay, yeah. I mean, Lou does like just holding on to signed contracts and then right before the season being like, "Oh yeah, he's
By the way,
yeah."
So another addition. I want to go through one more forward and then the D pairings. I want to ask you guys
Dude,
about.
I talked about the Habs for like 20 minutes. You're good.
There's
I'm giving you 2 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
Forward name Maxim Siplikov. I feel like I'm saying that right. I hope so. And he is from the KHL. The Islanders signed him. I don't know
that.
I don't know
that.
but he's supposed to be a little spark for their second line and drive some more offense. It's looking like he made the opening night roster. I think he's projected to slot in next to Brock Nelson and either again Anders Lee maybe or Kyle Palmieri. So
not to be mean, but that really drops off after the first line, huh?
Yeah, 100%.
Brock Nelson keeps scoring like 30 goals every year.
He scores goals, man.
Yeah,
So,
I always underestimate him.
I was gonna say that could be.
Also, who am I to talk? I get Patrick Laine for 2 minutes, and I'm like, the Habs have 2 killer. No.
If the Islanders can have a second line like that, that can at least be annoying to play against and go back to like what strength, right? Score by committee. You know that's what we're looking for here. Yeah. So, I'm kind of excited to see how he's playing. And I will obviously be keeping an eye on that when the season starts. Moving to defense. The Islanders, we're going to go back to the Canadiens here, Benny. Their first pairing is projected to be Dobson and Romanov. And what's really interesting about that is offensively for Dobson to flourish, Romanov has been a great little, addition because they just play well off of one another and can skate. Okay. And watching the Islanders, sometimes they look like they skate in slow motion because they're a bunch of old dudes. And Romanov, while he doesn't have I wouldn't say he stands out in any crazy way. He can move the puck up the ice and he can get the puck.
He has speed.
And he's not afraid. He doesn't shy away from contact. And I feel like that
he'll lower the fucking boom if he wants to.
So I feel like that does play into that whole identity that the Islanders have. However, I will say it's going to be interesting seeing him get first line minutes and play against other teams, top four.
You got to think, he'll be drawing like McDavid.
Yeah. But my big question, or not question, but I guess the big question mark that I have is the second pairing. That's who I'm most interested in. A full season of Adam Pelech and Ryan Pulock, who have struggled with injuries, timeout, and they are the most reliable defensemen on the Islanders. So I'm really curious to see how they're both going to play this season under a full season of Patrick Waugh. That's my main thing. I think.
Yeah, I wonder how that he changes just the locker room culture, any kind of just general systems, all because he gets when you come in that late in the season, you can do some stuff, but you can't drastically overhaul everything. So what does he do with a full training camp and a full year? Interesting.
Yeah. So
are they going to be a shell like they have been for 5 years? Not like the hide the score one and then hide in the shell and then keep it out and then kind of.
Yeah. So Waugh is known for obviously encouraging lots of shots, lots of offense. And I definitely want to see Ryan Pulock lean into that more because I think he's very capable of it. And obviously Adam Pelech is again a reliable defenseman that the Islanders, leaned on a lot when they were in the playoffs, making some deep runs. So I would love to see more of that again. And I will end this Islanders talk with the most important question. And that is the health of Ilya Sorokin. So it came out a few weeks ago that he had a back injury that was very under the radar, and people didn't know how serious it was. And there was no sight of him on the ice. He hasn't played in any preseason games, but earlier in the week, he was out on the ice practicing. He did not partake in any preseason games. He did not partake in any team scrimmages, but he was out on the ice warming up and practicing and then working with the goaltending coach. So he's out on the ice. He's playing. There is no timetable on when he's going to start. It's great having Varlamov as the backup because once again, the Islanders on this tandem. So I think based on the strong play that I've seen from Varlamov in the preseason, I think they should be okay to start the season, but it's going to be one of those situations. Got to get those points early, especially if you're the Islanders, and consistency is kind of an issue throughout the year. So I'm very thankful that Varlamov is there, but I also really hope Sorokin can, get back to full strength soon, because as an Islander fan, it's frustrating watching him falter a bit last year when the rest of the team wasn't helping him at all. And then have this injury. It's kind of like there's just been so much time where he hasn't been himself. And I guess my first thought too was, I know we're going to swing this over to Tampa in a sec, was like after Vasilevsky went through some back surgery, right? It took him a sec to get back to Vasilevsky. And, I just can't help but think, elite Russian goalie having back surgery that we don't know the severity of is practicing again. But I would really love to see a fully healthy Sorokin, because if the Islanders are to make the playoffs, they're going to have a healthy tandem. It's the only way they're doing it.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do they make the playoffs? That is the question. With the healthy tandem, do they make the playoffs even? That's a good question.
I think they squeak in.
And I could see them being better than Pittsburgh in the Metro at least.
Yes, another topic for later in the show. Oh my gosh, they're sprinkled all throughout.
Yep.
All throughout. It's all a tease. The whole first part of this show is just a tease for the second part.
Well, Mike.
Okay, yeah. So Tampa Bay, they probably had the most change of any team other than the Predators, I guess. And in terms of emotional change, they had the most.
Yeah.
Especially, at least for the fan base, we'll say. But okay, so obviously big story. And I actually don't believe I uploaded the podcast that we recorded after the fact. I actually never got to that after Stamkos left. So Stamkos is out. They JBB said, "See ya, hasta la see ya. Thanks for nothing." Even though it's thanks for 2 cups and like a decade of
so that means
fantasticness.
Your post Stamkos rant wasn't ever uploaded.
I got it though. I still have it.
You gotta put that segment. You gotta put that segment up at some point.
I'll throw that up. I'll throw that up when he pots a hat trick against them.
Yeah. Stamkos is tearing it up through this year, and pots a hattie and
I'll
first
throw that
game
up.
back against Tampa.
When he lifts the cup with Nashville, I'll throw it up. Okay, so it's first time in a decade that Stamkos has not led the Lightning out onto the ice. So it's gonna be weird. Hedman replaces him as the captain. Nobody's shocked there. It was 2008 Stamkos first overall, 2009 Hedman second overall, and it's been those two ever since. So he was the logical next man up. So no big shocker there. Their big ad was Gensel. You guys already heard my rant. You guys on the show did. No, but none of the viewers heard it. But I'll summarize with this. Gensel has never had a scoring season better than the one that Stamkos had last season, and we'll leave it at that. And they signed him to $9 million, so he's coming in. He's not coming in to replace Stamkos, obviously, because that's just not something you can do. At $9 million, though, he is third highest paid after Vasi, Cooch, and Point. So there's expectations on that, obviously.
Mhm.
There is a silver lining that I will say for the Lightning, and switching Stamkos for Gensel. That's not really what they did, but swapping that out, they do improve at 5-on-5.
Yeah.
Stamkos's 5-on-5 play, not good. He was not his mobility was slowing down a little bit, and his defensive skills leave a lot to be desired. So they do improve, and he didn't really score a whole lot 5-on-5 either. A lot of his points were power play, but then again, a lot of Tampa Bay's points were from the power
Yeah.
play. It wasn't really. That was kind of a team issue. Yeah. So they improved 5-on-5. The other moves they did, more big moves. They bring McDonough back in, and they trade Sergachev to Arizona, now Utah. Although I think it was Utah when
It
he
was
traded.
Utah
Yep,
at that,
it was
by
Utah.
that point, yeah.
So they grab JJ Moser, I think a younger defenseman for
Yes.
Sergachev,
Did
and
it-
also Connor Geeky.
Did they
And a
ever?
pretty good forward prospect from what I know.
Ever explain why, or was it just solely a cap restriction thing?
It was a cap thing. So I think the issue that they had with Sergachev was they gave him this big contract, and then he proceeded to not do it. But in fairness to him,
Yeah.
he got injured. He
Yeah.
did get a pretty bad injury, like a Stamkos-esque broken leg.
Yeah.
And then honestly, he worked his way back and then played in playoff games and played pretty well.
Yeah.
Like just a few months later. So like again, I don't know. None of the moves make any sense, guys. Okay.
Well, the Sergachev trade, you get a younger, not as skilled, but younger defenseman, and then Geeky is supposed to be a pretty good forward
yeah,
prospect.
he looks
so
nice. He'll be good.
You get younger, which you guys definitely
See-
do need to do to a degree.
But do they get younger? 36-year-old Ryan McDonough? Fucking A.
Well, no, not in totality, but like you get a couple pieces.
Not in totally. In total, you go up in age. Yeah, I guess.
Well,
but like,
Gensel's younger than Stamkos, Moser and Geeky.
so this is what they're trying to do, and maybe this is why it looks so stupid, is because they're trying to do the on-the-fly rebuild.
Yeah.
They're trying to do the on-the-fly rebuild by moving out some of their older assets for some younger ones that right now probably won't do a whole lot for you, but maybe in 2-3 years they can be back in the cup conversation.
You just got to be careful and make sure you hit on those.
You got to make sure that they're good. No Tanner
Yeah.
Jeannots allowed.
Yeah.
That is
Jesus.
yeah. So we'll see. They're doing.
And before you keep going, didn't they ship him out too?
They did.
Yeah.
They traded him. I don't even know what they got. It was like a pack of gum or something from the LA Kings.
Good riddance, right?
Yeah. I mean, hey, whatever. Listen. I was excited when I saw them grab him. I was like, this guy, he's big. He had one season where he scored like 24 goals. I was like, that dude will be sick on the third or fourth line. He's banging bodies and shit, and then he just did none of that. He did none of anything when he got to Tampa. So, but whatever. He's moved on. I hope he does well in LA. I'm sure he's a beauty, but you sucked as a Bolt. So, see you later. The big story for me for this season is, and I think it's going to be, I think a lot of Lightning fans are looking down on the season. I actually think they might have a better time this year because, as Eric said in like 5 minutes ago, Vasi was coming off an injury last year, a back surgery, not an easy thing.
like a few months into the season, right? Didn't he come back?
He
in
had back
December or something?
surgery like 2 weeks before the start of the season. So then, he
right.
worked his way back, and I think it was like December, January when he came back. So he probably never got comfortable, I would assume. And
No,
on top of
probably
that,
not.
their defense sucked cock and balls. Huge cock and balls. So what they
Not
do,
just cock, balls too.
the whole package. So what they do is they bring in McDonough, a very solid defensive defenseman. I even though he's old and he's got a big cap hit, I like that he's back. I never, they had to move on from him when they did, because that was just how things were going. And then they were like, you know what? Let's bring him back. We actually need him. So
How must that have felt from his perspective to be like, oh, hell yeah, let's go again. And then immediately Sergachev and Stamkos.
It's really upsetting. It's really upsetting because like there was a quote from him where he said he had called Stamkos, or Stamkos called him, and they were on the ice. They were like, they had just gotten off the ice, like Stamkos and Kucherov and stuff. They were like working on shit or whatever. And so that like hyped McDonough up. He's really excited to join the group, and then fucking Stamkos is gone. And Sergachev's gone. Yeah. It's like,
Stamkos went to the team he was on.
Yeah, they almost swapped. But I think their defense has improved quite a bit, and if Vasilevsky had a nice, long, relaxing summer with some rehabby type deals and getting things stronger again and all that fun stuff, I think we could see a return closer to what the Lightning were when they won their cups, which was a very defensively sound team. Honestly, very similar to Florida.
Yeah.
Defensively sound and makes you pay for your mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, they this is like the first short summer they've had in a good few years, I think. Or did they lost in the first round 2 years in a row, right?
Yeah, so they've had two full summers.
But before that they had 3 years in a row.
Before that it was cup final win, cup final win, cup final loss. So yeah, they had some long seasons.
I'm sure these past couple off seasons, I mean, it sucks to go out in the first round, but they probably help in a way. Like these guys who are probably barely ever getting back to normal at any point in those runs. It's like, sure, yeah. I mean that adds to it with Vasi, like that. Just another summer of just being able to not play until July.
That's the thought. That is
because they were running late at all those years they won.
Yeah. It was not. They did not get a lot of a break, and that's probably why the back injury happened. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to see some Lightning hockey. I will say the Stamkos' return. I looked at tickets, and they're expensive,
nuts, right?
So I will be taking that in from the couch. But it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be interesting to see. All right. Does anybody have any questions on Lightning? Probably not.
Who's the backup here?
Backup Tendy is Jonas Johansson, who I think is fine. I think he did well when he was in there because he was the starter for the first little bit, and I think he did a fine job.
Oh yeah, I remember that. He had a good start to the year last year.
No issues with him as the backup.
No, he'll honestly probably do better in that spot when doesn't have to do the every night and could just like every 4 or 5 games when Vasi's not.
He'll be good. He'll be good. I'm interested to see because similar to the Islanders, we have 2 lines kind of. It's a steep drop on the forward. Like it's like I'm talking like it's basically a straight line down. Like I gotta look now and see, but it is rough. It like you've got the first line that's like, A1 premium, Kucherov, Gensel, Point, which I don't like. I don't like stacking your first line like that because it's one line. But whatever.
Yeah.
And also Brandon Hagel is a really good addition to Point and Kucherov because those two don't really like to muck it up, and he loves it. Hagel loves that.
That is a great.
So I would prefer that, but right now they have Hagel, Sorelli, and I believe I think they have Nick Paul on the wing for the second line.
Ooh.
Okay.
Now maybe they don't.
That's a line to play against, though. Jeez,
that would be terrible. That would be terrible to play against. Yeah, so that's why. So that's a decent line. But then, like, these are the next 3 forwards in terms of money being made: Connor Sheary,
He's still there.
$2 million.
Oh no.
He had like 3 points on the season or something. I'm like,
He's making
dude,
$2 million.
and they couldn't trade him or something. He's got
He's-
a modified no trade. I yelled about this before. I remember yelling about this before.
Did they sign him to that, or did they trade for that? I don't know which is worse.
They signed him. They signed him to like it was he's got 2 more years at $2 million, which means it was a 3x2 with a modified 16 team no trade list. Can somebody like just give me a shot, guys? I can be a GM.
I want his agent. Holy shit!
I can be a GM. Like,
I want his agent.
I want to know what were the other choices. Like, just let him go and bring a young guy up. He would have done the same thing.
Literally any journeyman dude that gets signed for like $800,000
Yeah.
a year.
Why do you need
what?
why do you need the journeyman who wants $2 million? Unbelievable. Whatever.
That's
So it's
that name brand that comes with being on the back-to-back cups with Pittsburgh. I guess really
whatever. Stupid
does
ass
wonders.
morons running the team. So yeah, it's Connor Sheary, and then next is another journeyman, Cam Atkinson. At least this one is 900K at least.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
And then Zemgus Girgensons, Buffalo Sabres beauty,
He's still playing.
850K.
Dude, you know what?
Dude, they're so old, dude. It's not even funny. They actually got so much older.
I'm cheering for
Yeah,
that.
old.
I want that third line to have a great season.
Yeah, me too. They're not going to, but me too. Like it's absolutely
Damn,
ridiculous.
that's a
Like listen to this.
interesting
These are
bunch of guys.
Let me tell you their new ads. Why don't I tell you their new ads?
Yeah, run them off.
29 years old. That's Jake Gensel. So okay, 29. That's younger.
That's the young buck.
That's
right
the
there.
young buck, 29. Young buck. He's about to turn the corner on 30. Then you've got 35-year-old Cam Atkinson, 35-year-old Cam Atkinson, 30-year-old Zemgus Girgensons.
Girgensons wasn't ever that good at like 25. So
No, he's just a guy. He's a dude to fill out your lineup.
He is guy.
And then on defense, 35-year-old Ryan McDonough, but he's a beauty, so we'll take that.
Yeah, McDonough's fine.
Oh wow, JJ Moser's 24. I knew he was young. But I did not know his name was Janice Jerome.
Ah,
Yes.
all right.
But he, I believe, needed an RFA deal, so they had to give him $3.3 million.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, this is bad. It's just bad. It's not good. But yeah, we'll move on. Because that was too much time with the Lightning. We'll see. They are going to need to be carried by their first line because that's all they have. And they're going to need defense to carry the day.
And a goaltender.
Vassy will be back.
Yeah, he'll be good.
Confident.
I say a to carry, and which Vassy has done so many times before. Just do it again, dude.
Yeah, come on. You can do it. He's only like 28 or 29 too, so he's hopefully still got some years left.
Oh,
Still
yeah.
got time.
Yeah.
Goalies go late too. I mean, maybe I don't know.
Bob.
Maybe not the guy that takes as much of the load as Vassy does. Who knows?
He
But
does play a lot. Okay, well that was all I had. So I don't know if you guys want to take a short little like 2-minute intermission just to void the bladder, grab a drink. Then we'll be
Yes.
back with some other storylines from around the NHL. So all
yeah.
other teams. And as we teased, we got some cheap wieners. We've got some contentious goalie-ness.
cheap
And,
wieners.
and I
We love to
forgot
hear it.
the other ones, but they're there and I have them written down. All right, we shall return. All right, welcome back, gentlemen. Welcome back. We just talked a little bit about some Subway. That was fun. Nick did the 2 for
That'll
Uno.
be the Instagram reel.
Oh yeah, you know what? I can make it an Instagram reel. Hold on. There we go. All right, clipped. Okay.
We're making content, baby.
It's the content train. Okay, so we were teasing it the whole time we were just recording, or the whole time that we were just talking about our own teams, we kept teasing them. We have moved on to the other NHL storylines, and that is the last section I have for the show. So that's good. We can pound our way through this one, and then we'll call it there. But let's start off with the Bruins one, because that one I think is the most interesting. So Swayman, still unsigned, not playing, and I believe the question was asked, why would Boston trade Ullmark before making sure they had Swayman set up? And I believe the answer to that is because they didn't want to get left in the dust and not be able to trade him.
Yeah.
Like if you
So-
get through and everybody's already got their caps sewn up and everything
Yeah,
like that,
like,
they
there
can't.
were
fit
Ottawa
it.
is in, we need a goalie mode, and what if they go find a goalie from somebody else?
Exactly.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was more to it too with Ullmark. From what I read, he had a no trade clause that was supposed to kick in like at the beginning of the next month. That
Okay.
so like they needed to make a move with him and they couldn't sit. But then it's like Boston's not trying to not sign Swayman too. I saw something last week. He rejected like an 8x8 or something like that. So like,
Well, we'll get
What do
we
you
can get
want?
that, but
He wants a rub and tug on top of it.
so this is not wildly different, but the Cam Neely, it was during their like introductory press conference for the season or whatever, and somebody asked about the Swayman contract situation, and Cam Neely was like, "Yeah, I don't know. I'd have about 64 million reasons why I'd want to be on the ice right now," implying that that they had offered him an 8x8. And then later on that night, the agent comes out and's like, "We're extremely disappointed that Cam Neely made these statements in this press conference. This number was never discussed. This offer was never discussed, kind of thing. And we would really like going forward, the rest of these discussions happen in private." And then I can't remember what insider put it out, but then it came out that like what the actual highest ask has been was 7.8 a year for 8 years.
So that's from
Sherman.
that's from
Boston offering
that's from
to-
Boston to Swayman is 7.8.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
as
he
an
was
offer.
just rounding up, guys.
He was just rounding up. He was just rounding up. But also, as like a negotiating thing, that is
can't do
a
that.
profoundly stupid thing to do.
You can't do
Like,
that.
why would you actively try to piss off the guy you're already having a difficult time in this negotiation? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
You want
like-
him on you. You want him like he's
Yeah.
on the other side, but you want him on your side. Like you want him
Right.
to like you and be like, you know what, we'll take it.
Like,
The
at
part
some
of this-
point, you want to be able to make up with this and like come together and get like, do you want to get him this mad about things? Like, what are you
Exactly.
doing?
Exactly.
so my thing that I see with this is like, yeah, you know, he's obviously proven himself to be good, but is he really warranting this top goaltender money like at like $10 million or whatever the fuck he's trying to get? Right? Like he had one good year.
Yeah.
And a good year as a backup, and other than that, he doesn't have a long track record to be like, yeah, I want to get Hellebuck money. Like,
I think he's viewing it because there's been a lot of talk about this just on hockey Twitter and like things in general, where he's viewing it as trying to reset the market on goalie contracts.
Yeah.
Because if I'm Swayman watching just a shitload of guys around the league like Slafkovsky, like a Lucas Raymond and Mo Seider, where they're forwards and it's a different position, you have to evaluate them differently, but they've been good for a couple of years, but they also don't have like a wild
Right.
track record.
Fair
So why can't that apply to goalies? And I think that's more of the vein he's trying to go in, and also with fully like pressing the fact that in the next 2 or 3 years, barring another COVID, it's gonna be probably up to like 100 million on the cap. So he's like, no, I'm gonna get my money, please. But whether or not you agree with that, I don't know if I do either. But like, I think that is what his view of
That's
the
a good-
situation is.
that's good perspective. I didn't really think about it like that. And
It's
Yeah,
all
you know,
you always
fair
gotta
to
look.
when you have these forwards who make an easy $10 million constantly, and then you got goalies who are like, yeah, the top end of a goalie is like $7-8 million.
Yeah.
I know that there's guys that get paid more than that, but to your point, they're just as important to the team, if not more important, right? Like
Yeah.
you find a legacy goalie, like the Habs did with Price, or like how Tampa's done with Vasilevsky. Like you want them for as long as possible. And
Yeah, I don't think Tampa's ever been mad at the $9 million they're paying Vasi. I think they've been pretty fine with
It's
that.
9.5.
You're kind of
Oh,
treating like you're treating them as like second-rate citizens and saying, yeah, we want our forwards and we're gonna pay them everything that we can to keep them here, but you're gonna just take less because you're not as important. Like
I love Slav, but he scored 50 points and then got a little over $7.5 million a year contract. Like, I think it's gonna work out, but
that's a bet, is what that is.
Well,
yeah, that's a bet. So he's like, Sway's like, why can't you bet on me? Like, I just played my ass off last year because like he did kind of take the job from Ullmark last year. He had a better season than him last year, and they'd kind of been 1A, 1Bing it. And then obviously you see Swayman take the series against the Leafs this year. So I don't know. Again, like I said, I don't know if I would pay him that much money, but I do kind of appreciate, like, it's kind of interesting what he's going for. I think like he's being like, no, why the fuck can't? Yeah, like
I would be interested to know what his line is, because like if he would take $8 million, well,
I feel like
no,
they could just
I guess
sign that
not.
now.
Yeah, they would just sign it now.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say like Sorokin is at $8 million, is he not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But then
he's gonna get way fucking more than that.
Yeah, he's gonna be.
I think.
I want to add something into this. You finally brought up Shesterkin. So goalies, each generation of goalies is gonna set the new precedent, right? So I was watching Agent Provocateur, and Alan Walsh and Adam
were good show.
Yeah, great show. They were talking about, Alan was talking about how Martin Brodeur, for the longest time in New Jersey, was playing for $4.5 to $5 million contracts, and any goalie that was incredible, that was up and coming, right, would be like, I want 6, and the GM,
would be like, what the fuck? Look at this guy.
You want more than Martin Brodeur? What's wrong with you? So exactly, from our perspective, we're like Connor Hellebuck, Sorokin, Swayman's like, that's great that all those guys are getting that. Which goalie is going to set that new standard, right? Because Igor Shesterkin is asking for double digits. It has to.
Oh yeah,
12, like that. Yeah, he's on.
The Rangers, they have a high flying offense, but they also lean on their goalie a lot.
And what Nick, like, the goalie is so important. If Swayman is getting you all these wins and is really consistent in the playoffs, like he's shown, right? That's worth the money. So it'll be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I agree with you, Eric. And it's like, he's definitely, in my opinion, he's not Shesterkin caliber, but like I'm just changing gears quick for a second.
Is he 80% of Shesterkin?
Right. So like Jake Ottinger is going to have to get signed to Dallas again. Like they did a little bridge deal like a year and a half ago.
That man's going to get some money.
Or what? Like, who is he going to reset the market, or is he going to be like way inflated, or are they going to try and fuck around with him too? So I kind of eat my words that I said, is he not worth it? To the team, he obviously has to be, because you made that decision to go away from Ullmark to him, right?
Yeah.
So, but then to go back to what Ben was saying, how much do you really want to piss this guy off? Because ultimately, once you sign him, he's on your team. Do you really want to burn that bridge and be like, yeah, we treated you like shit for the last 6 months because we didn't want to give you any money, but you finally got it. Thanks for coming back. Now play for us and win. It's like,
yeah, it's not going to work like that.
I have to feel like there's probably tension there.
Yeah. It's definitely becoming a tense situation for sure.
I think it's really gonna be they're gonna start the year without him, and Korpisalo is either gonna really bounce back on a better team, or
well, I found it concerning when they picked the Vegas guy up off waivers.
I feel like that was just insurance. You gotta, with the way things are going in that, you gotta get another body.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta grab another goalie. And it's like, I don't think they're gonna be that concerned about maybe waiving and losing Yuri Patera if they do get Swayman signed. Although who knows? Aiden Hill was a Yuri Patera like 2 or 3 years ago, and then he won a fucking cup. So who the fuck knows?
True.
But
very true.
It's gonna be interesting to see, because if it they start with Korpisalo and he blows chunks like he was doing in Ottawa last year, then I mean Swayman
could
has
be-
even more leverage than he did before.
Yeah.
Like
He's in a good. Swayman is in the power position right now.
yeah,
Because they got rid of Omar, and when they got rid of Omar, they said that was them saying, "You are the guy." So
Yes.
when they traded Omar, they essentially said, they essentially gave him a blank check, and he's like, and he's taking it for as that what it means.
and
And
there was
blame-
another. Oh, sorry. Go
I was
on.
gonna say you can't blame him, right? Like there's gonna be people that say, "Oh, he's greedy. He should sign a contract." Blah blah blah. Right? Like nobody's in that situation. This guy, like professional sports, it doesn't matter what sport you play in. You have a shelf life, and you have to, in your period of time playing, you have to get as much money as you possibly can because
He could have a
he might turn out to be
career.
like he might lose his career like DiPietro did, right? Like you
Yeah.
don't know what happened, right? So,
Could be a career-ending injury in the next game he plays. It probably won't be, but it's hockey. Like it very easily could. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't blame him at all.
Oh, no.
There was also a little bit of interesting context that came out. I'm pretty sure it was from the Amazon series that did finally release. I haven't watched it yet, but remember that thing they were talking about at the end of last year? Where it was the behind the scenes where they were following. There was like 5 or 6 guys, and then a bunch of the guys that they were following, Kachuk, Draisaitl, and McDavid, were all in the Cup final. And then I haven't watched the show, but a lot of the clips and like quotes have been going around from it. And one of the ones was they were doing like a interview with Swayman, like I think it was during the series against Toronto, and he had gone to arbitration with Boston the year before, and he only got signed to a 1-year deal,
Mhm.
and then he had to be signed again, which is this year. And he said like apparently like going to arbitration, all the things that the team said about him really stuck with him, like all of the detracting things, and he had like a checklist going all year and like one, and then no success in the playoffs, and then wins the series against the Leafs. Check. Like so it had stuck with him. Like this was not something that started this summer. It was from last September to now. Like ever since they went through arbitration then, like it's been brewing. And then
It's
yeah,
been
like you said,
brewing. Oh
I didn't even mean
dear.
to do that.
good one.
I didn't even mean to do that.
Dear. You know what? That's a perfect ending spot. We're gonna end that right there. It's been brewing, and now it's boiling over.
Boy, it couldn't happen to a better team.
I think we found the name of the podcast for this
It's
week.
been,
It's been
brewing.
brewing.
That's good. Yep, we're
Yeah.
doing that. We're doing
Couldn't be happening to a better team. I'm just devastated for Boston. You know, to have this drama going on. It's just the worst.
that. Yep,
Just the worst.
indeed. You know they're still gonna make the playoffs.
Yes, probably, but like I'm enjoying it while I can. Like dysfunction out of Boston is so rare from a manager. Like they've been such a strongly run team for so long. Like I mean, yes, only the one cup, but they've always been in the mix.
They've always been in the mix. Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
Anyhow,
moving on. Let's do Utah. So yeah, Utah. Obviously, the franchise doesn't move from Arizona to Utah. They pop up a new franchise in Utah and replace
But it's all
and
the
place
same
the
players.
place the Coyotes team there. So same players,
Still
new
so weird.
franchise. They will be playing in the Delta Center, home of the. Is it the Delta Center? Pretty sure it
I
is.
do
Utah.
believe yes. I'm pretty sure it is. Yes.
The home of the Jazz. And we got a little list of the concessions, and good lord, are they affordable? My goodness.
Hell yeah.
In fact, I want to look up the prices. I know it was $3 for like multiple things, like an order of nachos, a hot dog.
Which is just unheard of for stadium food, for arena food.
I
at,
saw
like,
that
professional
exact-
games.
And they have the same pricing for the Jazz as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
it's
mean, it makes
just for the
sense.
building,
Same
yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah. So here's the list. Here we've got popcorn $3, nachos $3, hot dog $3, Far's ice cream bowl 3 big ones.
Oh man.
Oh, ready for this one? This is the big. This is honestly the biggie here. Dasani water bottle $2.
Unreal.
You know,
$2.
you never
That's like
don't- you never don't-
$6 everywhere else.
Yeah, you never don't see a shitty ass. Also, it's always Dasani, which is the worst
It
fucking
is.
bottled
It's
water.
It's quite
I
bad.
have never had a more rancid tasting bottle. Like, what do they put in those fucking bottles? Because it's the worst. And it's such a like a distinctly bad taste compared to every
Yeah,
other
it
bottled
really- it
water
really
brand.
is.
I don't know what they're doing.
They filter
but
it
I've never
through.
liked it.
They filter it through a bunch of shit.
Anyhow, yeah, you always see it upcharged to like $6 or $7. $2, that's wild. I mean, you gotta be providing water, and like that's what it should be.
Yeah,
$2, like you can
you're-
get like crates of bottles of water for like a few dollars. Like
You are
you're already
making a
upcharging
profit.
it.
You're
Yes,
making
you're
a profit.
crazy profit.
Because like you need to make profit on things because that's how things work. You can't
Let's
sell
just put
things
this
at cost.
Right? You can buy like a 36-pack of Walmart water, and I get that it's a different brand, but you can buy like a 36-pack for like less than $7.
Oh my god,
And
dude! It's
also-
like $3.
Also,
Yeah, exactly.
Their
So it's
cost
not
will be even cheaper because they'll be getting it wholesale from like a food provider, and they'll be getting it in like massive
Yeah,
bulk.
it'll be like
already
500 bottles.
Like 500% profit on this
Yeah.
bottle, which
Yeah.
is fucking insane.
yeah. But it's
it's
still good because it's $2. Like it's $2. It's
Yeah,
whatever.
That doesn't hurt the pocketbook, right?
yeah, you're making a profit, but you're not absolutely gouging your customers. Thank goodness.
yeah.
And what I like about this, and I hope that it catches on. It's not going to because people still go to the games and they pay what they have to pay to get stuff. But I would love for it to catch on because it makes it so much more affordable to go to a game. Because you go to a game and it's like your ticket's like, I don't know, you go on SeatGeek, whatever, it's like $50, $60, you get up in the upper level. But then it's like almost that much if you get like a couple beers and some food.
And
You're like,
popcorn
yeah,
or
and like
a hot
an extra
dog
snack or something,
nachos
and you're
or
spending
whatever,
what
yeah.
you spent on the ticket, and then it's just insane. Like what this
Yeah,
does
it's not
is it makes
good.
it so you can buy the ticket, you can get in the game, and then you don't have to stress about like, well, shit, I already spent $50 to get in. Do I want to spend another $50 to have food and drink and whatever?
Also, in terms of like whether you'll get stuff or not, like whether you're losing the profit on like a more expensive price thing, but like say it's a couple parents with like 3 kids who normally would have been like, no, we're going somewhere else to eat first before the game because we're not fucking doing that because there's 3 of you and we don't want to be eaten out of house and home in one night.
Yeah, exactly.
So now you'll get those people. Like you'll get so many more people to be like, if they see, oh fuck, it's just $3. Like
$3. Hot dogs
especially-
for everybody.
Yeah, like because I mean, you see
You
that
want more
lower
than
price, you'll
Sure.
be a lot more likely to buy a bunch because it's like, ah, fuck, it's $3. Like,
Dude, yeah, hell yeah. That's what I did at the shrimp game, man. It was $2 hot dogs at the shrimp game, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting 2 of these.
Funny you said, because I was actually going to say that exact same thing. It's going to make it so it's more affordable for people to actually go and be like, yeah, sure, I'll spend a $50 ticket, but like, no, you don't have to spend $100+ more for a family for just buying food and shit is going to make people want to go. Also, Mike, the fact that you went to that shrimp game and you didn't try and do the nine inning
Dude.
thing.
yeah, I wouldn't even want it. I would throw up. Like,
Dude, do you want me
there's
to
not enough
tell you?
stomach space.
Do,
Like,
do
it's
you?
just-
Yeah, there's not enough stomach. Do you want me to tell you how much I weigh? I've lost weight since college. Somehow,
How much do you?
I am 133 pounds.
Damn,
Like,
because I did hit 200 finally. I'm hovering right around 200. I had been at 190 for the longest time, and then I just got to 200, and it's not muscle.
I'm getting close back down to 200, which is nice.
Hey, well done.
I'm on the scale in a while, but Mike, what was I gonna say? I haven't been 130 pounds since I was like 7.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time I was 130 pounds. I probably would have been in like 6th or 7th
yeah.
grade.
You were 130 pounds when I was like 90.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I don't know.
Picture of us together on the ice in like it was second year Pee Wee for you, but it was first year I did it, and I'm like literally like a foot and a half.
You could
maybe
use my
half of
head
that
as an
difference.
armrest.
It's very dramatic. It's a stark difference.
Me and
Yeah.
Ben, Eric in general, were just like head and shoulders taller than
Yeah,
everybody
you
else.
guys were fucking tall early.
Us and Caitlin Miller.
Yeah.
And Brandy
Yeah.
Cook too.
I have always been short, and I will.
You've gotten some height as
was
you got
a
some height as it went on though. You were a tiny young fella.
I came back closer to the median. Never
Yes,
quite got
by
there,
the end there.
but it's okay. Yeah, so that's awesome. And another thing it does is it makes it like for me, like not saying I can do this, but like people out of town, like you could jet in for a game. If you can get a cheap
yeah.
ticket, you could jet in for a quick game. Grab some wieners.
Oh yeah.
It's all
Which I would like to do because I think that'd be cool. But
No, it's kind of wild. I think these prices are actually better than the SUNY Plattsburgh Fieldhouse prices.
oh my goodness,
Yeah.
somebody
I'm
figure it out.
fairly certain they are.
I mean, I guess the one thing is though, as for
If
the
anything, they're better
You're not-
or exactly the same. Like
you're not paying $50 for a ticket to get in, but still,
you're
yeah,
getting into a free game. Yeah.
figure
Is it
out
free?
slowly.
Well, for the women's
You're-
games, not for the not
They
for
don't
the
charge
men's.
for the ladies' games. That's
No,
why.
you
Wait.
can get them online. You have to like get a
It was-
ticket.
Oh, but you
I'm
just
pretty sure
get
you
it for
just-
free.
It was like
Yeah.
that for too when we were there.
For
Students, yes. Public, no.
Oh, you're talking about public. Oh,
For the townies, which Ben is now one of.
yeah.
I haven't been to one of those games in forever, and the last time I was there is because I was covering it. I get,
yeah.
I every once in a while, because I still work at the paper. Every once in a while, if they need a guy, I'm the guy
Yeah,
to go
Might as
cover
well be.
hockey.
might as well be. Okay, you know what? We'll do this one next, and then one last one right after. We'll scream through these. The Predators, they made the biggest splash at the free agency, beginning of free agency. They had Marchessault and Stamkos, and then Brady Shea, and maybe one other, but I can't remember. But the two big
Those
fish,
are all the significant ones.
yeah, the
anyway.
two big fish are Stamkos and Marchessault, which from last season adds, if they do their same thing, would add 82 goals to the Predators
I don't think
amount.
that's going to happen.
It won't. I
But
put
65 to 70.
I put 70 to 80. But yeah, 65 to 70 that's like guaranteed.
I'm just banking on a really big season from Philip Forsberg.
Well,
See,
he has help now. So
I almost think maybe not. I almost
there's
think
less puck to go around, I guess now.
yeah,
But
that's
But it's one of those
That's my
things
thought.
where now that there's other things that the other team has to worry about defensively, maybe does it open up some minutes more for Phil? Because I feel like for a long time with them, he's like, not that they don't have others, but I mean, they got Ryan O'Reilly, they got Granlund, who had a pretty good year, I think. Is it Granlund? Who is that like rando that came
Mike.
in and ended up being? What's that?
Are you talking about Gus Nyquist?
Yes, that's who. It's not Granlund. It's Nyquist.
Yeah.
I was some journeyman third
Yeah.
to second line player. I was trying to think of a name and I got the wrong one. But now they have a bit more where I think Philip Forsberg maybe gets a little less heat on him than he maybe did. So it could go either way.
yeah, true,
But
true.
I will say it's gonna do wonders for their. I mean, I don't see how it doesn't do wonders for their power play.
Oh my god.
And with them, their whole thing was they were a really strong structural team and like were able to stay in games. They just couldn't get goals. They got a whole bunch of goals with
They
these
got
moves.
goals.
Probably
They got goals
like-
now. The only thing I would say, Forsberg's a right. Is he a right wing?
Yeah.
I don't know off the top.
Because
of my
I
head.
believe that fills him up on the right side. They have a glutton of right wingers.
Well, was that where Stammer's been playing lately? On the right,
He
instead
was,
of
I
the-
believe, on the right most of the time. But
Would he be capable of? Going
I'm
to
sure
the
he
left,
could.
do you
I'm
think?
sure he could.
Yeah, I mean, he's a versatile player.
Yeah,
I
they
mean, most
also
centers
could just stick him in the center if they wanted to. I don't know if he would really do that well at it anymore, but
It's ideal, but like there's worse guys to have if you get into like center trouble with injuries.
yeah,
Like there's
that is his
worse
native
backup
position.
options to have than Steven Stamkos.
Yeah.
Like even as much as his game might have fallen off, like it's better than a lot of teams have as their
Very true.
backup option.
Very true. So my only thing with this is obviously they improve quite a bit. Does this make them the team to beat in the Central? And then I looked at the Central and I was like, oh yeah, it's not even close.
You think
Like
it
it's-
does?
Oh yeah, even
Yeah.
more than Dallas. Even more than Dallas. I think it's.
I still think. I think Dallas is still a stronger team overall. I do think it's hockey, so Nashville definitely
Yeah.
has the guys where they could make it happen if they get to the playoffs. But they'll be one to watch. They're going to be a lot more interesting than they were last year, I think.
Oh yeah.
They have to make it all work together, though, and it's not.
That's the other thing. It's a lot of new guys to throw into it.
Very true. Very true. Well, we will just have to wait and see. That is going to be my new West team, even though
You
it's
think
really not West at all. It's like
That's
6
always
hours away
that's
from me
always
right
thrown
now.
me too. I'm fairly certain it's closer. It's more east than Detroit.
I believe it is. Yes.
If it's not, it's like dead
It's
on
close,
with
it's
each
close.
other. Like
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
yeah.
Last but not least, Sidney Crosby finally signs a little deal, 2 years. Obviously one of the premier players in the league for a long time. He's not quite up at the top echelon now, but he's also what, 37?
Didn't he have like 100-point year last year?
I don't know
Am
if
I
he
making that up?
I mean, he might have, but when other people are at 130 and 144.
Yeah,
You
but
know.
they're also not dealing with the Pittsburgh roster.
Oh, I'm not saying. I'm just saying he's maybe not at the top. He's
Oh,
not the
sure,
best
right,
player in the
right,
league
yeah.
anymore. Is
Oh,
essentially what I'm saying.
no, yeah, okay.
Obviously he's still top 10 like easily. But
So he didn't hit 100. He hit 94 though.
Okay.
42 goals.
wow,
42
very
goals.
nice.
On
But
my
yeah,
My
so
guy.
you'd think
Holy shit.
he'd be due for a pay raise, but he's good. He's just gonna
No,
take
he-
his same exact cap hit that he's had for the last
That
8
man
years.
never wants anything other than his jersey number.
He wants his jersey number and maybe a cup. And here's the answer, or here's the question. That's a very nice little deal for Pittsburgh. I don't think it gives him any room to play with because they've got too many other dudes making too much money. But does
That's the other thing.
does he sign that? He's got 2 reasons to sign that, I see. 1, he thinks they can challenge for another Stanley Cup because at this point, what else does he want other than another Stanley Cup? Or 2, the only other thing he could want, does he just feel like being a Penguins lifer?
That's a lot of what he said is I kind of want to be a Penguin for life, and there's a little bit of that. But I know he also said in interviews, he's like, oh no, we talked with Dubas and we think we got something here. We can make it work. I don't believe that. But I also think there's the potential of he plays through this year and it doesn't go well for Pittsburgh. He plays through the majority of next year and it's not going well again. And then he's like, I'm probably going to retire after this year. This is clearly going nowhere. Can you find some way to get me to Colorado or something so I can be with Nate? Or like, it would not shock me if he's like, he pulls a Raymond Bourque at the end. Not that Raymond Bourque needed to win a cup. That was the whole
Yes.
thing. He went to Colorado to get a cup. But I would not be shocked to maybe see him like play through this first year, play through the majority of that last one, and if it's still going like shit. Because he's such a competitive guy.
He wants to
I
win.
don't know
That's his thing.
I don't know how you, but that's the thing. I'm not him. I don't know how that weighs up against his legacy where maybe I've already got 3 cups and I can be a Penguin. I can be the Penguin. Actually, would he become the Penguin over Mario Lemieux?
That's a good question. That's a topic for another day.
That's a post-retirement topic, but that's an interesting angle to it all. But in terms of where Pittsburgh's at, I see them being in the mix of things again to inevitably probably not be there enough and be in the same spot they were last year. Like, if it goes well.
Yeah, and
Like,
they didn't exactly. I wouldn't say that they improved. In fact, they traded Gensel, so they lost a very good player that they
they
did
got
have.
Mike Bunting
They got Michael Bunting. Woohoo!
because Dubas loves his guys.
Yep.
but
Yeah, it's not. I don't see them. I don't see them challenging for anything. Eric, what do you think?
I two thoughts crossed my mind. Pittsburgh sports fans must be rough. They're like, Lemieux or Crosby? Who do we choose as the Penguin? Wow, look at you guys.
yeah, it's just so sad for them. They've had so much struggle.
That's me.
Yeah.
The second thing that went through my mind is I can't believe Crosby is setting the bar for goalies in the NHL with that $8.7 million deal. I can't. That's unbelievable.
That's funny.
In all honesty, Pittsburgh is a team that I'm serious when I say this. It's not a cop out. It could either be it could go insanely well for them this season, and we could be like, oh my god, look at them just being Pittsburgh and just doing the thing, and Crosby is on fire. Or
they got enough dudes there that have been a hell of a something at some point where you could do a run, but or what's the other option?
$2 million Connor Sheary is on the Stanley Cup 2 times in a row because of Sidney Crosby. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
So,
yes. It was not Connor Sheary. Let me just throw that out there.
Needed to do, but anyway, like genuinely, it could go really well for Pittsburgh. I think the East is real tough, and I have my doubts. That's where I'm at right now. I have my doubts. Pittsburgh is the type of team though that could prove you wrong, just like Boston does every year. So that's where I'm at.
Very true.
Nick?
Yeah, what's your thoughts on it there, Nikki?
I'm not very educated on Pittsburgh, so I'll keep it quick. I still think they have an ass goalie, and they double down on him again.
Not wrong.
Extended him, so he's not going anywhere. And I agree with you to a point, Eric. You know, I think the East is tough. You know, we've talked about it a little bit. Montreal is coming up. Are they better? I would say they're probably still better than Montreal, but like Detroit's better than them.
Not by a lot, though.
Ottawa on paper is better than them. So it's like, what are you doing? And then you trade Gensel and you don't really replace what he's capable of. And you still have, like $12 million Erik Karlsson on the back end who played like shit. Like, oh, not shit.
I think he's like around 8 right now because they retained a bunch. But still,
yeah. But to Eric, what Eric was saying, you know, he could come back and he could have a Norris season again this year. You don't know, you know.
What is he? 2 years removed from 100 points?
Yeah, it was the season before last. He had 100 points in the Norris.
Could still be there.
Capable, and you know, Malkin's still there, and who knows?
I forget Rutger McGroarty.
They still got Brian Rust.
Brian Rust, baby.
For so long, for so much money for what he is. That's another one where it's like
he's a glue guy.
What was his name? The guy that was literally just there before Dubas. Hextall.
Oh, geez,
the Hextall years were not kind. The Hextall contracts, the Hextall and I think Brian Burke, that was like the GM president combo before Dubas was just like, I'll just do both. I'll hire myself. And
who would be good for this job?
I think I would.
Me.
But and then Steve Stamkos did the same thing in Ottawa.
Yeah, true.
But they kind of did a lot of the same kind of contracts that, like, I mean, at least a lot of the guys they gave really big contracts to were good players. Bergevin did some massive contracts to some not so great players. So at least they did. Ron Hextall and Brian Burke did one thing right. But there's been some rough ones.
Just did the Malkin and Letang extensions like, what was it, a year or two ago for a lot. And it was like,
oh, those are going to be garbage by the end of them for them because they're already kind of half cooked. Like they're both good players still, but like they don't have a lot of time left. Like, they're pretty much there. You got maybe 2 more years.
It's 2 more years, and it's
And
not 2 more
if-
like stellar years. It's 2 more like
And
sort
if
of
you
kind of years.
want, if you want to say, it's like one of those things where, I mean, it's easy for us to say as non-Pittsburgh fans, and we don't have any of the same connections to these players. We don't have the yada 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 yada. But if you want to set yourself up well to pivot out of this, you don't keep them for both of those years. You find somebody who's going on a deep playoff run that wants it and will pay too much money for one of those, or too much assets rather, for one of those guys, and you get rid of them. Like, I think they need to at some point admit that. I know it's tough with Crosby still here, but like at some point they gotta figure that out, because it's not going anywhere good from here.
Well, I think they probably don't. I think if Crosby's there, I feel like he pretty much runs the show.
I mean, yeah,
like
probably,
if
but-
Crosby's there, they're not going to trade. They're not going to trade people, because that would be like line in the, it's not a line
Yeah.
in the sand. It's because it's more permanent. That would mean, okay, that's it. We're breaking it down. We're rebuilding.
I do think a
Uh,
lot depends on this year. I think if it goes like catastrophically wrong for them this year, I think at some point you gotta fucking look at it.
I
'Cause
think
they
if we're
brought
gonna
Dubas
look-
in to be like, they pretty like openly brought him in to be like, try to make something out of the last 2 or 3 years out of Crosby, and then strip her down, and we gotta redo this, because their pipeline is pretty much gone at this point. That's why they went for Rutger McGroarty from Winnipeg. I need to get used to saying that name, because that is a mouthful. Rutger McGroarty.
They're not going to trade
it's a hell of a name,
anybody. If
but-
they trade some people, they're going to trade everybody. That's my if
Yeah.
if they trade Malkin and Letang and Carlson or whatever, Sid's
Then
going
it's
too.
all done.
Sid's going out the
Yeah.
door as well. Okay, that's it for me, guys. You guys want any closing remarks? It's been a long go here.
Well, cheers to the start of another fantasy hockey season.
That's right.
Started today
We're back.
randomly, while preseason games still have yet to be
Yeah.
played.
Yeah, we're back.
The
Started
NHL
with
can never
a
not be weird.
Sabres loss, I believe. Shocker on that one.
Yes, it was 4-1, I believe, to New Jersey.
4-1, and my boy Jack Hughes did fuck all. for
Hey,
me,
Darlene.
so-
No, when you got an offensive powerhouse like Jonathan Kovacevic, Habs legend on the New Jersey blue line now, getting a goal and assist, you don't need Jack Hughes to do anything.
Dang it, man! I should have
There was
gotten
a
him.
clip there was a clip after the game where, like, I think like the game puck went to him, and Sheldon Keefe, who, oh yeah, it was a reminder he was in New Jersey now, called him Kovechkin. And I was like,
Nice.
fuck yeah, I'm mad we
That's nice.
didn't use that.
That's nice.
Uh
All right. Final thoughts, Eric.
I have to drive back to Queens.
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. Jeez. All
So
right.
I'm about.
what is that, like 45 minutes?
Yeah, it's
No,
not.
Not at this point, right?
No, it's
maybe.
45,
Oh,
but there's
all
no
right.
traffic.
All right then.
You say it's 45 when there's no traffic?
That's nasty.
Damn.
Dude.
There's a reason I live up here.
Listen,
Nick.
you're in of driving on Long Island. You guys don't understand.
Final
We're
thoughts.
We're looking fantastic.
Final
that's
thoughts,
it, man.
Nick. What you got?
I'm ready for some sleep. It's been a long day.
All right, so let's get the hell out of here. All right, thank you for watching. Leave a comment and we'll answer any questions you got. We'll answer them to the best of our ability. Might be a stupid ass answer, but you'll get an answer. Okay, see you guys next week. Have a good week. NHL's back. Watch some games.
Yep.
Let's have a good week, gentlemen. Talk soon.